So that means travelers, if you are someone who travels to the US, let's say 3 times in a year, that means for that 3 times in a year, you're going to apply for visa 3 times, and you're going to pay 3 times, and you're going to plan to travel at a certain time. You see how much of an inconvenience this is going to be for some people. Well, it's like President Donald Trump meant every word he said during his campaign that immigration reform would be top on the list of his agenda when elected into office. Well, it turns out that that wasn't just a mere political talk. Well, it is happening, people. It is happening, and Africa is receiving its fair share of the Trump's administration, immigration showdown. From deportation to controlling how often, how much, and how long Africans with tourism and other select class of visas will stay in America. Did Africa see this coming? Absolutely. But what we had no idea about was to what extent and the pattern it was going to follow. Apparently, it was only a matter of time and this was going to happen. You see, in Nigeria at the moment, we have so much that we are dealing with, so much. Now, coming to add this new American visa policy to it, I'm just wondering how this would be for Nigerians who travel to America. Trust me, there is a big problem. A very big problem. Anyway, if you're new here, my name is Osih-Oyelude. Thank you so much for joining me. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. You see, I'm just here really thinking about the inconveniences this new visa policy change will, bring to some Nigerians who, frequent the US. Because trust me, there are some people who go to the US, genuine travelers who visit the US every year to see their family and their loved ones. And this class of people will have to get visa every year. And the visa will allow them travel to America just once. That is a single entry. And they have to now plan to go within that 3 months. If not, they'll be planning to get another. Wow. Anyway, American land, American rules. Well, I guess until further notice, we'll see how this is going to pan out. Because as long as I can remember, Nigerians have been having this like 2 years. For a very long time, you have 2 years visa with multiple entry. For a very long time. And then sometime like 2 years ago, they increased it to 5 years. 5 years duration with multiple entry. And now these people will now have to deal with this new rule of 3 months and single entry for B1, B2 visa. Wow. Well, this is the update, posted on X by U.S. mission in Nigeria. They said the U.S. mission of state updated its reciprocal non-immigrant visa policy. Effective today, that's the day they posted it. Most non-immigrant and non-official visas for Nigerian citizens will be single entry with 3 months validity. Visas issued before July 8, 2025 remain unchanged. So that is it. So that means travelers, if you are someone who travels to the US, let's say 3 times in a year, that means for that 3 times in a year, you're going to apply for visa 3 times, and you're going to pay 3 times, and you're going to plan to travel at a certain time. You see how much of an inconvenience this is going to be for some people. I'm not talking about those who travel once in a year and all of that. Because even for those who travel once in a year, unlike before when you get a visa, you can get your visa this year and you wait till maybe next year to travel. So whatever it is, you have to just keep it aside, get your visa and travel within, you have to just plan it and travel within that three months. It's Schengen that I remember. Schengen visa, I remember, that did this. When I applied, I was going to France, and I applied for Schengen visa. I remember them giving me just 1 month single entry, just 1 month. So I had to, whatever I had to do, though I was going for something within that 1 month. So mine wasn't that I had to just go, because something was actually taking me there. So within that 1 month, I could go. But the good thing, I think the what I say good part about Schengen visa is that having that one Schengen visa, even if you are having only single entry, you have access to more than the 20 countries in Schengen countries. You can travel to more, you can go to France, you can go to Germany, you can go to Belgium. If you plan, you can use that one single entry. You can go to as much countries as you can afford. That is it. But America, if you don't go at a certain time, you're already applying for another visa. That is why this one is a bit, complicated. And the next question is, now that the validity it has reduced to 3 months, single entry, with the visa fee reduced as well? And you see, people, this is just, this is just, we control how you come into our country. You control how much, you come into our country. We control when you come into our country. We also control how long you stay in our country and somehow still make money from it. Because for one person who is going to travel to the US, 3 times in a year, genuine travel, I'm not just saying some people genuinely have to travel to the US maybe 3 times in a year. That means you're paying, the last time I checked, their visa should be up to like $300 or so. I'm not sure about that. So that means you have to pay 3 times in a year. This is just, I don't know, man. I really don't know. You see, we all know how hard it is to get a US visa. Now, limiting people to single entry, validity of 3 months, it's just really going to be hard. I'm just emphasizing this because I know how hard that is going to be. And I'm thinking, would that somehow encourage people to overstay? 3 months and you pay so much. Would that? So with reciprocity, one's understanding or my understanding of it is that US is trying to reciprocate what Nigeria is doing. So that means Nigeria is issuing that kind of visa. So with that understanding, people started blaming, Nigeria that you started this mess. Is what you're doing that the US, government is retaliating because reciprocity from everyone's understanding is that we just want to do what you are doing. So Nigerians were so quick to, start blaming the government that it's all your fault. But trust the government. They came out quickly to reply. That is presidential spokesperson, that Mr. Bayo Nonuga, posted this on social media trying to say, no, we keep our own part of the bargain. And this was what he posted. The title was President Tinubu never stopped the 5 years non-immigrant visa for US citizens. Contrary to misinformation and fake news circulating online, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has never stopped issuing 5-year multiple entry visas for US citizens, in accordance with the principle of subsisting bilateral agreement and reciprocity. Immediately after assuming office, President Tinubu administration issued a service-wide directive that Nigerians implement all bilateral agreements with other nations and adhere to the principle of reciprocity in diplomatic relations. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has clearly stated the position of the federal government of Nigeria on the recent adjustment made by the United States non-immigrant visa policy for Nigerians. The ministry and other senior government officials will continue to engage with the United States to address the unfavorable restrictions in a just and fair manner that reflects the mutual respect and partnership that so exists between two friendly nations. We want to reiterate that the US government's claim of reciprocity as the reason for its current visa policy towards Nigeria does not accurately reflect the actual situation. The Nigerian government has not deviated from granting US citizens a 5-year multiple entry non-immigrant visa, just as the US has continued to grant the same to Nigerians. The 90-day single entry visa validity period only applies to the newly introduced e-visas, a short-term visa category for tourists and business people who may not wish to undergo standard visa application process and wait. The e-visa replaced the now obsolete visa on arrival, which was inefficient and often used as a means of extortion. The e-visa is a fast online process that does not require the applicants to go to embassy. The applicants receive the e-visa within 48 hours of submitting their application. The e-visa policy aligns with President Tinubu's effort to boost investment, trade, and tourism in the country, as well as promote the ease of doing business of non-nationals. Moreover, e-visas are a widely adopted global policy in dozens of countries. Although Nigeria has an e-visa policy for citizens of the US and several other countries, the US has not reciprocated this gesture for Nigerians. So yeah, that is the government trying to say, no, we don't understand the reciprocity that the US is talking about. We keep our own side of the bargain. They are the ones that have not even done the one we are doing. So at no time did we not give visas to American, 5 years visas to American citizens. That visa class is still there for American citizens. Although there is this single entry, and that is also another class. If you want to go for that, you can go for that, but you still have option to go for the 5 years visa. That's what the Nigerian government is saying. So what Mr. Bayo Onanuga said was also corroborated by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga. This was what he said on Channels Television.
We are talking to the Americans, we're engaging them. We are also explaining and reminding them that we issue them 5-year multiple entry visas the same way that they issue regular travelers 5-year multiple entry visas. What Nigeria has done that differs is simple. We used to have visa on arrival that wasn't running efficiently. We introduced these online electronic visas that you can apply so that it saves you time instead of just arriving and then going through the process of getting the visa when you have already arrived. The same way I'm talking to you on my laptop, I can just simply apply for a Nigerian visa and you get it and then you fly. So it makes it easier. This is what we've done. We have different categories of visas. There are those people that are first-time travelers that are coming as tourists that are probably not likely to come back to Nigeria again, maybe because they're coming for a short while, and they get those 90-day visas. So our visa is not saying that every American is only being given 90-day visas or 3 months or whatever. We give Americans, there are loads of Americans that have these long-term visas. 5 years.
So the Americans are not correct when he said their decision was based on reciprocity.
It is not based on reciprocity.
But you see that US presser, it says two things. On one hand, it's saying that it's reciprocity, the policy was because of reciprocity, But on the other hand, they listed other things, down, which is, they wrote that the US criteria and standards are designed to protect the integrity of US immigration system. Now, these standards are based on global technical and security benchmark. The US mission is working with the government of Nigeria to ensure that Nigeria meets the criteria. Now, example of the standard criteria we're talking about is secure travel documents. Secured travel documents. Now, ensuring that countries issue secure travel documents with verified travelers' identity. The other one is visa overstay management, implementing measures to limit overstay by travelers on US visas, and also information sharing, talking about sharing relevant security and or criminal records information to protect public safety. So which one are we going to take? Is it a reciprocity or these, ones that you just listed? But anyway, the US came out to clarify what they meant, and this was what they posted. So this was what they posted. I hope you can see it. Anyway, the Nigerian government had a meeting with the US ambassador in Nigeria, in Abuja, and they're trying to say that they should reconsider their decision on the visa. And the Nigerian government, released a presser. Everyone is releasing a presser on that, saying that they will continue to, respect the US government's decision, but appeal to them to change their minds and, look into it again. And I'm like, I don't know why the government of Nigeria thinks that this decision can be taken solely by the US Embassy in Nigeria. No, this is just, I don't think this problem has to do with Nigeria, in my own opinion. I think this is just a Trump administration visa policy. And in any case, it doesn't affect only Nigeria. It affected Ghana, it affected Cameroon, it affected Ethiopia, it affected so many countries in Africa. So it's not only Nigeria. So if you're saying that you're meeting them to reconsider, in due time, because I know that in due time their visa, thing is subject to change, but it's not what they will sit down with you. The ambassador of US and Nigeria will sit down with the Nigerian government and say, okay, this. If it was only a Nigerian thing, I would have said, okay, maybe there is something that happened that they need to sort out. But this is not a Nigerian thing. This is just a policy thing by this administration, by the Trump administration. So when they decide to review it, they'll review it for every country. So that's why I'm saying that if the US mission in Nigeria is saying that is those things that they listed is the reason, was that also the reason in Ghana? Was that also the reason in Cameroon? Was that also? Is all of us have the same issue, which is reduced validity and single entry. So that's why, and on one hand, the write-up on one hand is saying is reciprocity. On another hand, you're listing so much things that is the reason why the Nigerian government should, do all those things, and with time they will sort it out. So really, it is not about the Nigerian thing per se, because it's not only Nigeria that's affected. So that's what I'm thinking that this meeting that they had, to me, my own opinion, is like a waste of time, because trust me, nothing is going to come out. For them to make any decision about changing this visa policy, it will still have to come from America. It will still have to come from the Homeland Security in America. So this is what the memo they've given to all the ambassadors, in African countries, that this is what we want. Give it to them until further notice. So having a meeting and not having a meeting, is clear that a Nigerian government have, clarified that part, that no, our part of the bargain of 5 years visa, we're still doing it. It's okay. But going to tell them to reconsider or reconsider, it's just looking like nothing's going to happen. It's when they are ready, they will do it. It's not because you went to beg them or went to ask them to do it. Because like I said, this is like a policy thing. All those reasons they gave. But those reasons will still be there by the time they will review it. I'm telling you, those reasons will still be there. They can't change it for your country alone. When they are ready, they will change it for everybody. That's why I'm thinking that the meeting wasn't even necessary in the first place. But what I do know is that America, reviews their visa policies from time to time. It's always subject to ongoing review and may change depending on evolving diplomatic security and immigration benchmark. So let's just wait it out. Let's hang in there. Let's see how this plays out. And, when they're ready, I think they will sort it out. But in the meantime, I just, feel for the travelers that this is really going to inconvenience. There are people who generally just go to the US, stay within their time, and leave. They have no business overstaying. They have no business trying to use any US facility meant for US people, and you're coming from. They don't do that. They just come, visit their loved ones, do whatever they have to do their business and go. So for anybody who is, applying for visa, you really have to just be very strategic in applying. And I wonder the kind of strain that will even put in the US Embassy. Can you imagine people just coming 3 times in a year, as against somebody you have to see once in 2 years or once in 5 years? And one person, because they have to visit the US, they will have to now come 3 times. You will have so much backlogs. I wish I just hope they are ready for it, because it's one thing to bring in this policy, it's another thing for you to be ready for the work. Anyway, what do you think, Nigerians? Let's continue the conversation in the comment section, right? Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I see you again in my next video. Bye for now.